Angela, I'm so excited that Madison was able to join us today. It just confirmed why it's so necessary that we continue to mentor and reach out to the millennials, those younger than us, and those even older than us.
Yes. It's really about recapturing a generation. So much in the media here lately, they've gotten such flack.
Yes.
The millennials and now we have the younger ones, they're calling them the snowflakes. And it's just so disheartening.
Yes.
And, really, whose fault is that?
Right.
We need to take responsibility and we need to take ownership
That's
for what's
good.
going on in the world and in these children and in our community.
Yes.
And, we really have a solution for that.
Right.
Do you want to share a little bit about how that works? How do we solve the lost what we're calling lost generations, but they're not lost at all?
What we have to do is to bridge. We have to bridge a sense of family and a sense of community.
Yes.
There used to be a time when families they strengthened their families through the use of community. And they also understood the necessity, the need, the vital importance that community played in the lives of their children and their children's children. The Word of God tells us that you raise up your children in the way that they should go, and they will pass it on to their children and their children's children. And a good man leads not just for his children, but he leads for his children's children. So what we're talking about is legacy.
Yes. And
mentoring is a way of forming legacy.
To do that, Yolanda, though, you have to take ownership.
You
okay?
do.
Because you have to take ownership of these kids and your children. You have to take ownership of them.
Yeah.
And, this whole thing that's going on has really made me come to question. We need to question why we're doing the things that we're doing.
Yes.
And,
my gosh, yes.
why do we have our kids doing the things that they're doing?
Right.
And, we really have to look back and look at all these children individually and give them a hope and a future.
And we got to encourage each other not to be selfish. The reason why we find that there's this lost generation, if you will, of hopelessness is because so many parents have taken a selfish approach of, well, I figured it out. My kids will figure it out. That's not true.
No.
It's not true. If we don't lead them, show them the way that they should go, they're not going to find their way. It's almost like going on a camping trip. It's like going on a camping trip where you've never been. Say, for instance, if I wanted to go camping right now in upstate Georgia, I know nothing about the mountains, nothing. So if I went camping and I didn't know the routes in which to camp, the route to take and different things,
we dropped you off. You probably surely would die.
I'd be worse than the Israelites. The Israelites were on an 11-day trip that took 40 years. Here we are today in a generation of hopelessness because of and this is not the first generation. We're talking at least 7 generations of people being lost, and folks want to know why we are questioning, why we are speaking truth, because the time is now. And our young people are hungry for it right now.
Holding so much in. And when you live in truth, live intentionally, it helps release all of that anger and it helps you become a better person and stronger. So reading this and this book also, it was just eye-opening to see that somebody experienced a situation similar to mine and could talk about it and talk about the struggles that they went through and the trials and tribulations as well.
That's interesting because Angela and I talk about this kind of thing very regularly, actually. And then you and I had a conversation a little earlier today where we were talking about why is it important to have truth spoken out loud versus just having truth revealed in your mind. What about speaking truth made the connect for you?
It's a form of healing. Because when you hold things in, it's always like a wound that you never let fully heal. And I learned that when I start talking about things that I dealt with and what happened to me in my life, other people had similar stories and it was just like coping. We helped each other cope, and we taught each other different things. So
That's so good.
Yeah, from that aspect, I felt that's how I related.
It reminds me of like turning the light on, you know, because when you turn the light on, you see everything, and you know things disappear.
That's good.
You know, but when you have the lights off, everything's hidden and dark, and you know, it reminds me of just.
I love that analogy, Angela. Mm-hmm. And we have a moral, spiritual, emotional obligation to mentor, lock arms, and you too can join the group. You too can join the movement. You need only go to truthpuzzle.com. If you need ideas on how you can serve in your community, contact us.
Yes.
We're just an email, a few clicks away. Your piece is one piece away. And you can so easily change the life of one child at a time just by service.
Yes. And, you know, and I love what the Word of God says. He says He comes to give us life.
Yes.
And life more abundantly.
Yes.
You know, because so many people are living, but they're not really
They're living
life.
Below. That's
They're
right.
not doing what they're called to do.
That's
They're
right.
not, you know, we come here with gifts and talents.
Yes.
We're not living with our purpose. You know, what we're discussing
That's
about
right.
is living purposefully.
Yes.
And, you know, that's really what this is all about, is mentoring children
That's right.
to live in their purpose. So we really need people to get involved.
Yes.
The older generations and teach.
Right.
Find out these kids' gifts
Yes.
and talents and mentor them.
Right.
And that gives people passion.
Absolutely.
And then you have a thriving community.
Yes.
Not a place where we're all, I hate to put it down there, but serving just like a couple corporations.
That's right.
And working for the big man.
That's right.
That's not living.
No.
I'm just sorry, but that's
No.
not life. Okay, that's not an abundant life.
That's right.
Survival.
Yes.
And, you know, we didn't come here just to survive.
No.
God says He came to give us life and life more abundantly.
Yes.
So we're talking about the abundant life and the
Yes.
secret to abundant life.
Absolutely.
And that really comes for you to giving gifts and talents and mentorship
Right.
to other people.
Right. And it also brings up the point that we don't need a college degree. You don't need a college degree to serve. You know, the goal of Truth Puzzle is to eradicate homelessness. You realize we have a exasperated view of life in terms of not seeing that it's the practical things, it's simplest things. Less is more. Tiny house, we think of tiny houses, we think of tiny living. No, we need to start thinking in abundance in terms of what we give to each other. Your skill may be different from mine. I teach school, math, English, history, but your skill might be as a farmer. You may need to teach us how to cultivate the ground and where we live at so we can grow food. Or you may need to be a father or a mother to a child who doesn't have one. You may need to teach a child or a young person how to fix a car, how to change the oil, how to sew, how to cook, for crying out. These are all gifts. These are talents.
They're valued.
They're
Yolanda.
valuable.
They're valuable.
And it creates a sense of community.
yes. And, you know, and really what that becomes is sustainability.
Yes.
And really what we really
so
need
good.
is a community of sustainability.
Yes, we
where if we did get dropped off,
Yes.
we would be able to survive.
Now, you know you've said a mouthful with that because we are living in a time where people don't know where they're going to get their next breath,
Absolutely.
their next meal, the next paycheck. And so when we start talking about sustainability, we're also talking about off-grid. We're talking about being on-grid with the power that's inside of you, the power that will take you to the next level, and that comes through a sense of community and knowing whose you are. And the truth, your truth, is one piece away. Thank you.